I think an advisor covering long-term care needs for their client is good for their practice because it makes them really a totally comprehensive planner.
That's a conversation that tells the client I'm thinking about them holistically, that I'm trying to be with them for the long haul.
And creating those intergenerational relationships is a great way to start to build business with more than one generation of a family.
So as people age, sometimes they're not able to, we call them activities of daily living. They're not able to do some basic things that they need to get by, things like dressing and bathing and be able to go to the bathroom on their own. And so they need help. And so oftentimes the way that begins is you have somebody come in and help you. Could be $800 a week, could be over $40,000 a year. But then as your ability to manage these kinds of issues declines, and you need more care, you might need to move into an assisted living or into a nursing home. It could easily add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars that people have to come up with. Even for a family that has significant wealth, it's going to become quite a drain on their assets.
I don't think that retirees today are adequately prepared for long-term care costs. They're certainly not the majority of them. I think for the most part, people have no idea of what the potential cost can be of a long-term care need. So there is a lot of ignorance of the potential problem with this, and there is some avoidance of the problem. I think an advisor covering long-term care needs for their client is good for their practice because it makes them really a totally comprehensive planner. It shows that they are addressing the broad spectrum of potential future events, but perhaps more importantly, that the people who are dependent upon that client are still okay financially. So you're cementing that relationship. You are addressing something that no other advisor has possibly brought up with them. So they're not going to go elsewhere.
If I'm an advisor, that's a conversation that tells the client I'm thinking about them holistically, that I'm trying to be with them for the long haul. I'm not just thinking about them today. I'm thinking about them in 10 years or 15 years. I think that helps build trust and helps deepen that relationship.
I would also add that it adds to relationships, not just the client, but with the client's spouse and with their children and maybe even with their grandchildren. And creating those intergenerational relationships is a great way to start to build business with more than one generation of a family.
The typical client considering long-term care is probably between the ages of 50 and 65. People who are doing a lot of planning for retirement, who are really looking to have a secure retirement and looking to protect the other planning that they've done.
One of the triggers we know is that they see someone else go through this process, perhaps a parent or somebody else in their family. So they see that, somebody has to move out of their house and move into nursing care or has to have in-home care, and they sort of see how that affects them both financially and emotionally. And so that can be one trigger where people start to say, oh, geez, I need to have a plan so that I can begin to not have to be in that situation myself.
I think an advisor is a key person in that discussion because they hopefully have that big picture and they're able to address both the situation today, but also to look through modeling and that at what the situation may be down the road and to initiate that conversation and to protect the other planning that they have done with that client. And I think many of the advisors may have had the experience of delivering a life insurance benefit, a death benefit, when one of their clients has died and getting that gratitude from the family. You will get that same gratitude when there's a long-term care need.